What's good, Chargers? I'm Fenn McCrary, and I am here at the Elmer Buchta Technology Center. Here with me today is special guest Bridget Butcher. Would you like to introduce to us who you are and what you do here?
Absolutely. So I'm Bridget Butcher. I am the program coordinator at the Elmer Buchta Technology Center here in Pike County.
The first question of the day, what led you here to the county and what motivated you to become involved here?
Absolutely. Great question. So what brought me to Pike County, I fell in love with a boy whenever I was in college, and he is from Pike County, specifically here in Petersburg. And after we graduated college, then we decided to come here, which was wonderful. And what motivated me, I have to say there's kind of a lot of factors that have influenced who I am today between teachers, coaches, and my family. But I have to say that my grandpa, Jack Butcher, he was a basketball coach in Lagodi, Indiana for a long time. And he just made this influence on people's lives. And I get to hear their stories all the time because I'm close to that community. And his love and passion and just unconditional support for his community really influenced me to want to be a service leader just like him.
Yeah, I'd say you're lucky to be able to look up to somebody like that. I mean, he is the most winningest coach in Indiana basketball history, I think, for a while.
He was for a long time. That specific title got snatched for a little bit, but I don't think that's impacted how the people that he was able to coach and mentor to him.
What inspired you to become an advocate for business and entrepreneurship?
Well, I have to say, Fenn, that I see myself as an entrepreneur. I'm also definitely not like cookie cutter person that can work a standard 8 to 5 in a cubicle.
I could not either.
Maybe I have standard-ish hours, but every day is different here. And but to go back to your question, I've always found that I have a passion for a variety of different things. Mm-hmm. One specifically I found out after I graduated college was taking care of people's pets. I have dogs and cats of my own, and I learned through a job I had where we had a daycare and a boarding facility and a grooming facility for dogs. I noticed the pressure and the intensity and kind of the fear that parents would feel when they would drop their pets off when they were going on vacations. Mm-hmm. And I loved spending time with them. It did not feel like work. It was a blast every day. But I also saw that some dogs just really didn't do well in that environment, mm-hmm. Away from home and being with a lot of different dogs, and it can feel overwhelming to them. And I noticed that our community didn't really have a facility close by where people could take their pets. And so I was like, I would love to bring this to my community. And I can go to people's houses and I can walk their dogs and I can take care of them. And so I started doing that. And when I was doing that, though, I was like, I don't really know how to move forward, or what if I wanted to make this like a real business? And so with my jobs that I've had over the last few years, I have tried to put myself in a position where I was around resources and people that could help me. And so working for an organization that supports entrepreneurs and small businesses, I have that perspective of knowing maybe what they need and where their passion comes from and their excitement for what they're doing.
Yeah, that's great, because I'm glad that we have people here like you are just
kind of an advocate.
Yeah, it's a good thing. So has the Technology Center given you an outlet to build on your side hustles or your businesses? And what about others in the surrounding areas?
First, to answer, I personally, it is a side hustle, so I don't get to spend as much time on it as I want to, but I can say, because I am working at the tech center and I've been able to meet so many more people in the community, I have been able to actually grow my side hustle a little bit, which is great. And I usually, I do it on the weekends or when I'm not here. It also has given me a chance to learn more about the business side of things. I've started being a volunteer for an organization. It's a mouthful, so I apologize, but it's called the Indiana Small Business Development Center. and they are a resource for small businesses and entrepreneurs in the state of Indiana. And then throughout the state, there's different centers based on regions throughout the entire state. And I have been able to learn more about starting a business and kind of the logistical, the business plan side of things. And without being here, without having the resources and meeting the people that come to our facility, I definitely don't feel like I would be where I am today. As far as the individuals in the surrounding area, when you guys came here, actually, I have a coworker who was working on her podcast of her own, and so we have had a couple people actually recently that went to Pike Central High School and now have recently moved back, and they're looking for a community, a network, because they were living in a more densely populated area that had co-working spaces. So they were so thrilled to see that we had one here, and it supported them either from having an open collaborative workspace to getting to meet the economic development coordinator or some of the people that come through here.
Yeah, I know I do find interest in like maybe going to college for business. So I think like if I came here, I'm wondering what like the learning experiences I could get from just being around everybody here and learning from everyone else.
Yeah, I will say what I have learned as I got older is so much of kind of where you travel on your path to life is who you know, which can seem so silly and cliche, and I know I heard it a lot going to school, but the power of a co-working space really comes from the people that come here. Like, we're just a space, but when you bring those right players to the table and they have conversations and they think about how can we support a business, or how can we make this community better, and what are ways that all of us together, what can we do? And the just that experience of hearing those things and meeting each of those people, getting their business cards, connecting with them on LinkedIn, it's incredible, really. I think the power that can come from that. So whether it's making connections, whether it's maybe helping you with a resume or a cover letter, or giving you a space to be able to maybe you want to go into a certain type of career that you need to polish your skills for making videos or recording or communicating. The possibilities are endless, I think.
It'll be definitely something I look into, I'd say. And I think everybody else should as well, who would be interested in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you like to inform our audience about some of the opportunities the Tech Center offers and for the students?
Yeah, so I've kind of touched on it a little bit. We are what's called a co-working space. There's actually over 70 in the state of Indiana alone, so it was good that we jumped on that bandwagon and we got one. But the basic format of the space is we have private offices, we have open co-working areas that are more like informal conversations where a variety of different people can come to the table and work. And then we have an area for kind of networking and some of our programming and events, so we can have like a coffee bar and where we can have refreshments and things like that.
Yeah.
And then we also have the side of the facility that is our maker space. That is unique to co-working spaces. Not all of them are able to provide that, but let's say you're an existing business owner, or if you are someone who has a widget or an idea that you want to physically create and build, we have 3D printers, laser cutters. We've got different pieces of technical equipment that you would have access to. And the best way I try to describe it is it's kind of like a gym membership. A, you get out of it what you put into it, and B, it's all based on your time. So maybe as a student, you are working on a project with 3 or 4 other classmates, and none of you have good Wi-Fi, or none of you have a good space to have a background or a backdrop, or maybe you need to talk to somebody in the community for an interview or a meeting. You can utilize that space here. Definitely went off track a little bit, so back to the gym membership outline. If you need the space for a day, if you need the space for a week, for a month, for a year, there's different pricing. There's different pricing for students. You could come and utilize the space. If you're a student, it'd be $25 for a month, and you get 24/7 access. So maybe you're a really early person, or maybe you're a night owl. But the same works for the makerspace side as well. So you get a service, you get a facility, but then you also get a network.
That's cool. What is the working environment like at the tech center, and what are some of the conveniences of coming here? I guess you've already kind of touched on that, but that happened to be in this question. So I guess we could leave it at, I mean, what's it just like to work here?
Yeah. I love that answer. So I get to be usually that first person that people see when they walk in, which I'm so privileged and honored to do, because I want everyone to feel like this is a very energetic, fun, it's a safe space. There's a lot of excitement going on, but then it's also a space where it's going to be calm and relaxed, and you can get stuff done. But just knowing that there are team members here that want to support you and help you, and they're excited for whatever project you have going on.
Yeah, I know when we came in here, the impression was good. Just walking in here, it was nice. It was just as what I expected, because I knew this is probably one of the nicer buildings in Pike County. And there's, I mean, just the few people I've seen here, it's good.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. The other day, I was looking on the Tech Center website, and I saw a category explaining success stories. So, would you like to share some of those?
Yeah, absolutely. I know if some of your followers or those who hear our interview today, Dylan Query and Jacob Steneker, they are two individuals who graduated from Pike Central High School, and if you saw on Facebook a couple months ago, they actually filmed, created, and came out with a movie that they showed in films there in Jasper, which was incredible. Also Indianapolis as well. And what's neat about Jacob and Dylan is they were passionate about the Elmer Buchta Technology Center before I knew it was really an idea.
Yeah.
Graduates from Pike Central High School, and I think Dylan is neat because, you know, growing up, he fell in love with storytelling, and he loved watching movies, and he was like, he felt a calling to be someone that could recreate those. So went to Ball State University, and from conversations I've had with him, he had an interesting experience because he found that he was maybe pushed a little bit to look outside of Indiana for career opportunities, because that was just where the industry had been. Yeah. And he was like, I'm a Hoosier. I want to bring these services. I want to build this for our state. And I just think that is so neat. And he's been able to utilize the Tech Center from after they had their first showing in Jasper. They came and they did some like behind the scene interviews with some of the actors. But even before, I know they use the facility for practicing, for rehearsing. And so he's one example. Erin Wiseman's also another one. She's a local family physician, but she also is very unique and has created her own brand around something she's really passionate about, which early on in her career she felt kind of burnt out, and she felt like she could be an advocate and a coach and a cheerleader for maybe other individuals who were feeling that way in their career. So she has a podcast, she has books, she does online coaching, and she comes in here and she does her podcast, and she just brings a whole nother level of excitement in here, which is great.
As you have connections with the Pike County Economic Development, I'm wondering what kind of projects you'd like to see Pike County take on. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so grateful to have the opportunity to know and get to work right beside Ashley Willis every day. I'm gonna answer it on a personal note. I will say that I am a lover of movement, of being outside, being very active. And so one thing that I would love to see more of, and she has already made steps towards this, is some quality of life things. Hornady Park is going to be getting some new playground equipment, which is fantastic.
That's good.
And then, the new sidewalks in town, that we're definitely making some steps. Aren't those great?
Yeah, I think that was great.
Yeah, and so I'm just kind of trying to find more ways that all of us can be active and really take care of our mental and our physical health, because I think if you can take care of yourself first, then you're able to give so much more to your community.
Yeah, this county is full of nature, so I think it's something we could definitely utilize.
Yeah, absolutely.
In developing a populated area to be the best it can be, it's really no easy task. But what is one idea that should be emphasized among those who live here? Should there be any mindset changes?
Yeah, and such a great question. And I think as a small community, which I grew up in a small community too, but I think that term you said, mindset, is so powerful.
Yeah.
And I think if we can have more of a growth mindset, which my leaders here at the Tech Center absolutely do. I read a book when I was working for Vincent's University talking about the difference between like a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. So for example, maybe I drove to work here and I got a flat tire. And then when I finally got here, I spilled my coffee and all of these things. Mm-hmm. And if I had a fixed mindset, I would immediately just be like frustrated, like, oh, of course this happened to me. And it would just kind of, take on the rest of my day. Versus like a growth mindset, I would have a different perspective, and I would think, you know what, like this happened in my car, maybe I need to think about like going and getting it serviced and checking out some other things, because I've probably put that aside a little bit. And
right, yeah.
My coffee spilled, you know what, that's okay, I can make more here at the Tech Center. But just trying to think more positively and thinking outside of the box. Mm-hmm. And also how we can all kind of like, I know I've said this multiple times, but since I got to the Tech Center, like how I can like really wrap my arms around this community, because I've always worked outside of the community. And so, yeah, I think if we can all kind of be a good neighbor or just help each other, be a good influence on one another.
Yeah, I think there's always room to grow anywhere. Absolutely. And I think this is definitely a place that could happen. But I feel that a lot of people don't believe that. So I think, we need to take responsibility. Mm-hmm. And, think positively instead of, putting us down because all the other surrounding counties have more. But I think we have a lot that we can offer as long as we, have the people to do it. Yeah,
I think you said it exactly how I have felt. Not being from here, I think it helps you to have that perspective of all the things that are here and all the successes that have already happened, and how can we want more, and how can we do that together and in a positive way. Mm-hmm. I've also learned you kind of have to be patient, which is hard.
Yeah. So finally, what would you say is the ultimate goal of the Elmer Buchta Technology Center?
I have to say, Fenn, that is a very loaded question.
Yeah.
That's a loaded question, but I think, honestly, the original goal of the Tech Center was really to support and help to elevate our local businesses here, and really help, give them the resources and the knowledge that they need to develop and enhance their passions and their goals for their businesses. And then also, though, I think to try to help cut out some of those barriers that somebody who maybe wants to start a business, help them feel like they have a family, honestly, to go to, and cut out some of those scary barriers that can prohibit somebody from moving forward from a passion.
All right, well, thank you for letting us come in today, Bridget. We hope that all of you were able to learn a little more about what the Elmer Buchta Technology Center is about. And before we go, would you like to state any upcoming events that are coming up here?
Yeah, absolutely. So unfortunately, as far as students goes, we're going to be doing this during the school day, so I apologize. But November 18th, we are going to have a legislative panel here. So some of our state representatives are going to be here, and we can ask questions and
awesome.
Figure out what they have moving forward as we look ahead. But I will say for 2023, I have some scholarships that are in the works for Pike Central High School students that I'm really excited to share more details about. And we'll hopefully be putting together some innovation nights where we will present a problem, and then students will have an opportunity to come up with a solution and present those. So more to come in 2023.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it. Thank you all for watching this episode of Chat with the Chargers.